Man, today is gonna be fun. One and done some people. Hopefully my game doesn't crash so I can get my rank back up to Grandmaster with Sagat. And then yeah, we're definitely gonna talk about the games coming out, the games that are out, why they have been designed the way that they've been designed. But I just gotta foolproof this. No disrespect to anybody, but it's just what it is in terms of the stuff I'm gonna be saying. See, I got a couple of things. And you guys hopefully will understand what I'm saying. I mean, I feel like people are going to start, like, I haven't even touched Guilty Gear, but I feel like people are going to start complaining soon because at first it's going to be like, yeah, this game is real fundamental and blah, 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 or whatever, right? I just saw this clip from Chip, and I'm pretty sure if someone gets caught by that enough, they're going to hate the game. So, it's just one of those situations like that. But I feel like people, when they say casuals, they're not actually properly able to, they're not like, you can't just say casuals. There are different types of casuals. You got people who watch that are casual, but they're clueless of what's going on. You got people that watch and follow like content creators' tastes, like for example, Mac's taste, right? And I mean, he genuinely likes that stuff, but it's shaping the entire industry, and it has been for like as long as his presence has been a presence. So like, what I mean by that, you pretty sure you see everything is freaking Marvel versus Capcom. Like Invincible Versus is pretty much Marvel versus Capcom, but with Killer Instinct. Like the game, when I tweeted saying that the game feels very satisfying, I'm talking about when you hit people, like the noise it makes, the feeling you get. But when you're getting hit, it feels awful. Even with the combo breakers and stuff, it still feels awful. Like they're Frankensteining the game where they're like, all right, with 2 bars a meter, you can breaker like Mortal Kombat, but I can counter your breaker and mess you up even more, which is pretty much that. But it comes down to a hard read, because as soon as you start a combo, you're like, all right, I'm about to hard read, you're going to try to break her and then punish you for it. But you can also mess up too, but it's a hard read. Like when you hit somebody, there isn't finality unless they don't have breaker in the combos and stuff. But outside of Invincible, you got Marvel Tokon, which is basically another Marvel versus Capcom game, because they're trying to appeal to that audience. And then you got 2XKO, which is also another Marvel versus Capcom game trying to appeal to that audience. And then you got Mortal Kombat 1, which is another appeal to the audience of Marvel versus Capcom players with the assist. Like, so you got the casuals that watch but they're clueless, you got the casuals that watch and they follow Max's taste, and then you got the casuals that watch and play, and then you got the ones that play but they're not competitive, and then you got the casually competitive people. The devs are building for group 1 and 2 because like the clips, like, and groups 4 and 5 are sustaining the games long term, but they keep getting the worst product because it's appealing to, they're making games appealing to people instead of like the full audience. Like, people get mad at casuals for wanting a one and done or rage quit, but you keep developing games that don't feel good to play when you're losing. So like games only feel good to the person that's applying the hits and stuff. And people getting hit, they're just watching the script run. That's why people rage quit. It's not just Salt. The game doesn't feel good. It's not just, oh well, I'm a sore loser. The game, it's like, all right, this shit is trash. That's what it is. And I mean, it's also Salt too, and people being sore losers, but that's a big part of it. When every situation is a hard read, there's no skill expression. It's just guessing. So there's no finality, and it loops forever. It looks flashy, but eventually, like, you see it enough, it's going to get boring really fast. What's funny is like this whole thing that they've been trying to figure out has been figured out already decades ago. Like decades ago, they was able to figure this out. Itagaki figured it out with Dead or Alive already. And you know what the community did? They shitted on the game and didn't give it any kind of do, basically, until he died. They waited until Itagaki died to be like, oh man, actually this game is pretty good. This game is pretty solid. And it's like, man, get out of here, man. It's so like so fake, man. But Dead or Alive gave you short combos, big damage, cool animations that don't be on the screen forever, and basically don't overstay. Like by the time it's over, you're like, all right, you're back into the match. You don't feel like, man, you don't get that rage quit or oh my god, this is long ass combo, I gotta watch till I get to play again. Don't nobody that works an 8-hour shift, which are the casuals that people are trying to get, right? You're not trying to get the casual competitive players and shit. You're trying to get the casuals that are playing the run and gun games or the basketball games. You got to make the game feel fun to them too. If they're losing, they have to feel cool. It has to feel cool. And none of this shit even Dragon Ball fighters don't feel cool to get hit by their long ass combos and watch the sequence and stuff. Those games are made for the people that do, you know, sit with the game forever, and no matter what, they're going to play it. But for the casual, you got to design the game like DOA. Like in DOA, the finality came from when you got launched. Like when you're still stunned, you could do stuff. If you got hit by a grab or a hold, that was the end of you being able to escape. So there are still guaranteed situations that you have to try to get to happen. And both players, offensive and defensive, have options in most interactions in the game. And it keeps the game dynamic, and every match doesn't feel the same. Everything new now feels scripted because one person is getting hit and they're just watching the game. And the most recent DOAs, and I'm talking about Itagaki's DOA, DOA 1, 2, 3, and 4. Like DOA 5 started the path of, hey, we want to appeal to the common fighting game player that goes to events that wants long ass combos and shit. So then you got what you call in DOA 5, they added like all these stuns that are inescapable that lead to the critical burst that leads to a longer combo. So in that game, you still have like the Itagaki like dynamicness of the match, but then they're like, all right, you get hit by a critical burst or a sit down stun to a critical burst, you gotta just watch this long combo now, and it doesn't keep with the philosophy of what Itagaki was doing. But I don't like the stun into guaranteed stun into max threshold launch, and is I didn't like it. I didn't like the power blow stuff. But that's when the development, at least with DOA, started to shift because Itagaki clearly wasn't there anymore. Actually threw him out of the company. But that's the problem with the industry right now. Nobody is caring about what getting hit should feel like. They're just like, all right, let's make sure it feels super good to land this stuff, but it doesn't feel good to get hit by it. And they're just developing for somebody to go, oh my God, this is insane. And then posting like the video of it, like, oh, this is so hype. Like whatever looks craziest on the stream, like that. They're developing games for people who are watching. They don't play anything. They want to recreate the stuff that Justin Wong could do in Marvel vs. Capcom. That's what they want to do. Marvel vs. Capcom 2. So they designed the game around making all those possibilities easier, but then it takes away from it. Imagine if everybody could fucking do Michael Jackson's moonwalk. It wouldn't, or his spins. It wouldn't hit the same, right? That's pretty much what they do with these games. But I feel like the best games, the best fighting games feel good to lose in. The new games only feel good if you're the one, you know, winning or getting hits. Like even Tekken, right? Tekken's got these super long combos now. Who are they trying to appeal to with that? Tekken used to have short combos that did a lot of damage. And it was all more about the neutral and stuff. So what they did is they homogenized the neutral kinda. And they have these long combos now. And I mean, Street Fighter 6, I think does a good job because the combos aren't super long. And when you get a hit, you know, that's, I mean, you can't escape and stuff. But the neutral is like kind of rock, paper, scissors-ish, where with the parry to beat attacks and attacks beat, well, I guess you just get hit, but attacks beat, stop you from blocking or whatever. Throws stop the parry. I mean, it's kind of like DOA in how they did that, but it's not all the way that way. I wouldn't say that Shotos are too strong in Street Fighter 6. I think they're as strong as they're supposed to be. They just got to make the other characters shine too. But what about characters like Aki? That bitch ain't a Shoto. She's strong as hell. But yeah, characters like Mai and all that stuff is like, dude, come on, man. One of the strongest, easiest Shotos ever. But DOA wasn't overshadowed by the fan service in DOA 2, 3, or 4. It started getting too fan servicey with 5 and 6 when Itagaki wasn't there. You got to pay attention to who was the lead director at the time. And it wasn't him. That's when they developed that reputation. Like DOA 2 through 4 had fan service in terms of costumes and stuff, but the gameplay and, well, pretty much the gameplay was more of the focal point for the game than anything else. And then you got people on Twitter acting like they're the judge and executioner of what DOA is, when some of those people didn't even freaking was able to place it. Like, look, this is how I feel. I don't care who gets mad, but like, I question you as a person if you're in the competitive fighting game space and you want everything to not enhance the competitive fighting game experience, and it's all about fueling your hype or fueling your fan service or whatever, especially players that have tried to compete and I know they tried to compete and they got their back blown out for years, and then now they develop this online presence like, oh yeah, I know how things are supposed to be because of blah blah blah. And it's like, no, certain players will be like, oh, I'm all about the titties and ass or whatever, but you go look at the tournament history and it's lackluster. Same players who competed in the DOA 4 2006 Evo, like, for example, there's somebody claiming to be the best Lei Fang player because of their online ranking, but when they went offline, they weren't even the second best Lei Fang player. So the one time you competed, you weren't even the second best Lei Fang player. But you want to talk about how good your Lei Fang was because you beat the scrubs online. No, dude, that's not how this works. At least not with me. Because I mean, I could tug on your shirt like, hey, so why didn't you place higher than High Guy or Black Mamba at Evo? And then why, when you went to Dead or Alive in Dallas, you also wasn't the best Lei Fang there, was Majin Kimimaru. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying this guy's a trash player, but you can't go around making a claim like that. Because we all know, like, tournaments versus online rank does not, like, tournaments are what matters. It's like having sex with or without a condom on. Hitting that shit raw is what people really care about. And that's what the tournaments are. Sorry. It's just, now if you had the results, then I would be, good job. You can talk your shit, but that's not what it is. So, I'm just being honest about stuff, man. Because I wouldn't be able to say what I'm saying if I didn't have the credentials. But again, these games, to my main point, have to go back to making it feel good. Or when you get hit, you can't be sitting there watching like a long ass combo. If the combo is starting to get longer than Yun's Grenadian stuff and Third Strike, go back to the drawing board. If it's but then you don't want it to be too short. I think Mortal Kombat 11 started to get a really good balance for what they should be doing, but then they want to appeal to the Marvel vs. Capcom people who only like, okay, think about this. I'm gonna put this in your brain. The people who glaze Marvel vs. Capcom so much don't fucking enter tournaments. They just like watching shit. But they don't want to play against the shit that they're watching. Oh, I love Marvel vs. Capcom 3. All right, play against Chris G using Mori Doom. No, I don't want to do that. I want to just do low tier teams. Well, nigga, you don't like Marvel vs. Capcom then, because that is what it is. Oh, let's do a whole campaign to get Marvel vs. Capcom 2 re-released so people can play it and enjoy it. All right, play against Yipes' MSP then. No, I want to do low tier teams. Well, nigga, that's not what Marvel vs. Capcom is then. Like, that game has guard breaks, unblockables on incoming, and all that shit. Oh no, let's water the game down more so it fits what I actually want the game. That's not Marvel vs. Capcom then. That's you making a Frankenstein version of what you think is it's appealing to you, but not everybody else. Having guard breaks and unblockables is not a bad thing in Marvel because you have 3 characters to kill. Like, what? I don't understand, dude. A lot of these people shouldn't be like, you can have your audience, your influence and shit, but you should not be